And out of nowhere, this guy, I will say, I don't think he's a Japanese guy. I think he was maybe Korean, but it was in Japan. This guy comes up to me and literally rubs my skin. I was like, what the hell? What are you doing? What the heck are you doing? He was like, it doesn't come off. I was like,
hi, welcome to the Black Experience Japan's Melanated Files. My name is Ranzo, and the purpose of this series is to highlight the Black people living in Japan. Who are they? We share their stories. Remember to find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the Black Experience Japan, and subscribe to this channel for weekly videos on the Black Experience in Japan. Let's get into the interview.
So my name is Mary, and I'm from Toronto, Canada, but I was born in Nigeria. Why Japan? Oh, that's a good question. I would have to say in one word is because of adventure. I think I just wanted to have the adventure, the freedom that Japan offers. But at the same time, it probably all stems from when I was a child. And I grew up watching anime and reading manga with my sisters. And that for me was like a really fond childhood memory. So I always had a special place in my heart for Japan. But as I grew up, I wanted to learn the language. And of course, if you want to learn the language, I think the best way to do that is to actually live here. So yeah, because of the adventure, the freedom, and wanting to learn the language. It started off with me wanting to study abroad here, because I knew I wanted to live in Japan, but I didn't know how it would actually be realistically. I thought the best way to get a taste of it would be to study abroad first. So when I was a third year in university, I actually did my study abroad at Waseda, and that was for 10 months. And I actually didn't even do my major. My major was business, but I decided to only study Japanese so I could get a real feel to learn Japanese and also a chance to travel. So during that year, I met so many cool people. I really traveled around to different areas, Hiroshima, Okinawa, Osaka, and I realized that my thought of Japan was actually true. It is a place that offers you a lot of different opportunities, and I knew that after I graduated, I wanted to come back. So after studying abroad, I went back to my university in Canada, graduated, and then I actually went to the Boston Career Forum in Boston, and that was where I found the job I had now. I just quit, but I had that until recently. So my position in Japan when I first came was as a recruitment consultant for one of the major bilingual agencies, and I specialized in IT marketing. So I would only help to find jobs for people doing IT marketing with those IT clients. And I did that for a year and a half, and I really did enjoy that job. I thought it was a great opportunity to learn about sales, to learn about people, and to learn even about Japanese business skills. But then I realized as well that the more I did that job, it wasn't really what I wanted. It was fun, it was enjoyable, but it wasn't, my heart wasn't in it. So just recently, I actually switched to do a position in-house, where now I'll be doing HR Specialist for one of the major IT companies. I'm really excited for that. And I realized that that position that I got, I would never have had the opportunity to work in that type of role if I was back in Canada. Because that job, one, requires people who can speak Japanese and English, but also it's because I am in Japan, that was just the right place at the right time kind of situation. So I always feel that if I was back in Canada, I'll probably be working at some, I don't know, normal office job, being maybe the secretary or something like that. But being here in Japan, I've just been afforded so much more wide range of opportunity that I never would have had back home. So the company I worked at, truthfully, it's a gaishike company, just meaning that it's a foreign company based here in Japan. But honestly, no matter how gaishike a company is, I think they always will have a Japanese element. So I was lucky enough that my team was quite foreign based. There was, I think, about 80% in my team was foreigners, but it was still quite bureaucratic in terms of that, you will still have to ask to get anything done. The boss is always right in a way, and there's always so many meetings that are just really unnecessary. So I did enjoy because my teammates, my coworkers were really good people, but at the same time, the company itself, I felt had quite a strict element to it at times. So it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was horrible. It was a good opportunity to learn more about how to work in a proper business setting. And I always would say I appreciate them teaching me that. However, I knew that I would thrive more in a more foreign type of company instead of the one I was working at before. What I like most about working in or being in Japan, as I touched upon it a little bit earlier, is just the amount of opportunity there is here. I think a lot of people come here with a mindset that there's only two jobs or two things they could do: be an English teacher or, maybe do something else. But I actually would say Japan gives people who have the right mindset a vast amount of opportunity. And the reason why I said is because coming here, I thought that, I would only be able to do English teaching, which is, I think, a great profession for people who want to do that, but it can also be a trap for other people. But once I came here, first I got this position in my previous company where I got to work with senior management in top IT firms. Imagine me, a 23-year-old girl, talking to a senior manager and trying to influence them in terms of who they should hire to bring onto their team. That's unimaginable if I was back in Canada, like, no way. But they give me that chance, and I was just like, that's only in Japan that would happen. Or even getting this new opportunity I have with the new IT company. That's only something that could happen in Japan because I was here and I was willing to do that. So that's one thing I like most is opportunity. As well, I would say the travel. The travel in Japan. Okay, so I'm from Canada, where it's such a huge country. It costs more to go to Vancouver than it does to go to New York. But here in Japan, because it's quite a small country, you can go to so many new places quite easily, either by plane or taking the night bus, which is like Yako bus, which is a cheap way to do it. And you can just experience different types of lifestyle, whether it be the city lifestyle or the country lifestyle or the in-between. I think the travel is amazing in Japan. If you ever do come here, you must travel if you have the chance. What else do I like about in Japan? I don't want to say it because it's so typical, but safety as well. I remember in Toronto, if I'm walking home, after a long part-time shift, maybe it's like 11 p.m., I will always be like turning back, looking behind me as I walk from the bus station to my house. But here in Japan, maybe it's like 1 a.m. I'm just walking, down the street and I have no worries. And I just really appreciate that you can feel safe here, especially as a woman. I can feel safe here. Like, you can leave your wallet. There was even one time I was hanging out with my Japanese girlfriend, and we went to a cafe, and I put my wallet on the table and went to order. She's like, Mary, you just left your wallet on the table. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. And she's like, wow, you're really Japanese now. So I think the safety, especially as a woman, is something that I'm really grateful for, and I think I love. So the least favorite thing about living in Japan is definitely making friends. It's hard. It is hard. So there's millions of people here in the Tokyo area, and you can always be meeting different people, but forming those deeper relationships, I think, is the real struggle. I regularly go to meetups because I want to make new friends and meet new people, and there will be people who are interested in you. They'll ask you where you're from, how did you learn Japanese, but that's where it stops. It never goes on a deeper level. It never goes in the point like, oh, how's your family? Oh, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? They don't ask you these type of questions, and it boggles my mind that, especially here in Japan, I guess, I don't know if it's people don't care, or it's more so that people don't really want to know yet. So I would say the thing that I like least about being in Japan is making deep friendships with people. It's hard. My favorite Japanese food, my friends will always call me Osan for this, but I love gyudon, which is just the beef on top of rice. And it's a really simple dish, but I just love it because it's filling, it's good, and yeah, that one's really good. I also have a second one, which is okonomiyaki. And okonomiyaki, it's kind of like pizza in a way, but not really. And there's actually different types. So there's the Tokyo version or the Kanto version. Then there's also the Hiroshima version. And those two are amazing. So the Hiroshima one has noodles in it, while the Tokyo one doesn't have noodles in it. But I think both are delicious. So okonomiyaki and gyudon are my favorite food. So what I want to accomplish in Japan is to be an international business leader. And I think the reason why I want to do that is because I grew up always idolizing strong, independent women. And I feel that Japan is a place that needs that the most, for sure. And lately, I've been reading a lot about diversity and inclusion. And although Japan is working hard to bring that, more into the business, but I see on a daily basis still so much to be done. So I want to be able to get to the level where I actually have influence on how a business runs its recruitment or how the HR works, just so that we can bring more diversity and inclusion to whatever space or whatever environment I am in. So I want to be that type of leader that encourages the company to do that, and also is somebody that encourages, women around the world, girls around the world, to follow their dreams, to leave their comfort zone, to go out and do what they believe in. Because when I was a little girl, I had nobody around me, or I didn't know anybody who had the dream to move to Japan or had the dream to be an international businesswoman. And I feel that if I can become a figure like that, then hopefully that'll be inspiration for other young women to take the leap to be a global leader, whether it be APAC or in North America or whatever. So I want to be an international business leader. The best life advice I received is from my mom. And I think she got this from church, but she says laziness is a sin. And the reason why she always said it to me, because when I was a little girl, I was quite lazy. But I think that's a really good life advice, because it just tells you that you have to push beyond. You always have to do something. You always have to take action. You can't just wait around and wait for something to come to you, wait for the result to happen. If you don't take action, then your life won't ever change. So when I graduated university, I didn't know how I would get to Japan. I didn't know how I would even find a job. But then I knew there was the Boston Career Forum, and that's in Boston. I'm in Toronto. Maybe if I was more lazier, I would have just stayed in Toronto and not even bothered to buy that ticket and take the leap of faith to go to Boston. But because I always had that life advice from my mom, laziness is a sin, I was thinking, okay, I have to take action. And I bought that ticket, I took the leap of faith, went to Boston, and somehow I was able to get the job, and now I'm here. So I think that's a really good life advice, that laziness is a sin, so always take action. So in terms of the Boston Career Forum, that's actually held in Boston, of course, and it's actually the largest bilingual Japanese and English career forum held around the world. So they do have ones in Tokyo and London, but Boston is the main one. And it's always held, I believe, in early November, but you can already start applying to a bunch of jobs that they have on their website, as earliest as I think July or September. And the process is quite simple, is that they will slowly release a list of the companies that will be attending, and then you can already start applying to those companies or the jobs that those companies bring out or show on the website. And then in terms of interviews, it's actually possible to do interviews even before the actual Boston Korean It's possible to do interviews even before the actual Boston Career Forum is held through Skype and online. But then, of course, the main event is the 3-day forum. So this 3-day forum is held between, I think, early November, maybe around November 6th to November 9th, usually the weekend. And at least, I think, 20,000 people visit that place within that time frame. And once you go into the building, they have normally on average over 200 companies in attendance. And it's always like a setsumekai, or how would you call it, the companies will talk about themselves, maybe talk about the type of positions they have, and then you can even interview on the spot or submit your resume there, and then later on hopefully get some interviews. So it's really not difficult at all. It's really easy to apply, to submit your CV, and then to be talking to the people. However, I will say it's quite a professional environment. People are dressed in suits because they are ready to do interviews. So if you do have the chance to go to the Boston Career Forum, I highly recommend to be dressed professionally, because you're competing with some of the top people or top students in their areas who are Japanese native but speak English fluently. So you want to come dressed as best as you can with your CVs as well in Japanese, because when I made sure to bring my Japanese CV and English CV, and then I did interviews. So when I went to 2016, I interviewed with 3 companies on that day, and then we went through the process. So day 1 is usually you maybe have 2 or 3 interviews. Day 2, maybe second stage interview you can get to. And some companies also do dinner, where if they like you, but they want to know you better, they will invite you for dinner as well. So that could be something that could happen for you as well. But rarely do you get offer at the career forum. I believe that most people actually get offers after it's over, just because it's easier for those companies to do the paperwork. But I highly recommend to go to the Boston Career Forum if you're looking for a position in Japan. If the world was listening right now to me, I guess I would say that live the life you want to live. Don't live the life of your mom or your dad. Don't live the life of your sisters, your brothers. Don't live the life of your friends. Live the life that you believe in. So sometimes your ideas and your aspirations are different from the people around you, and that's okay. It's just that you have to work hard towards it. Even if we are the minority, as long as you strongly believe in that, follow that path, because at the end of the day, I think people are more happy knowing that they live the life for themselves than trying to live the life for somebody else. So live your life. If I had to say one thing, I would say before coming to Japan, definitely learn Japanese. And how I learned Japanese was I immersed myself in it. And when I say immerse myself, doesn't mean I was living in Japan, but back in Toronto, I was listening to the podcast. I was watching the variety shows. And variety shows are pretty much just comedy shows. Think like Jimmy Kimmel or Ellen DeGeneres type of shows, but more slapstick humor. And even though you may not get the humor in the beginning, trust me, if you watch it more and more, you will naturally get the humor and you'll start laughing with it. So I highly recommend watching variety shows. And in terms of reading and writing, I just read a lot of manga and played a lot of video games in Japanese. So one of the main reasons why I wanted to learn Japanese was so I can consume the Japanese content in that native language, because I didn't want to wait for the manga to be translated in English so I could finally read it. So I was reading the manga already in Japanese, and when there was a word I didn't understand, I would just look up in the dictionary and then I would go back to reading that manga. And I highly recommend manga, especially maybe stuff like shoujo manga or slice of life manga, because the vocabulary they use in those books are the real vocabulary you'll use in your daily life. So you always hear the same words over and over again. And if the more you read, the more you'll hear those words and the more you'll understand those words. So I think you have to immerse yourself in the language and find your hobbies in that language. For me, it was video games and manga, and then the podcast, because I love to listen to the radio ever since I was young. So I'll just listen to radio in Japanese. And yeah, in the beginning, I only understood 5%, but then I started understanding 10%, then I started understanding 20%. So it just keeps going and going and going, and the main thing is to not give up, to just keep doing it. So those were the main ways I learned Japanese, and I really have to say, especially my pronunciation is really good because I watched so much variety shows. So my friends always saying like, wow, why is your pronunciation so good? I was like, I watch variety shows. I was learning Japanese on my own for around 2 years, and then I entered university and I took Japanese as an elective. So I would say it's good to take a class to give you the foundation for learning Japanese. But if you think you'll be able to master Japanese only by taking class, you're wrong. It's not gonna work, because Japanese classes are only meant to give you the foundation, good grammar, maybe some decent vocabulary. But if you don't actually go out there and speak it and use it and write it, you won't get it naturally. So I think taking a Japanese class will give you a good foundation, but then you need to find your hobbies in Japanese. And then if you have the opportunity, even if it's just a short summer program or 1 month homestay, come to Japan. Just come here, because once you're here, you actually get the chance to use it in your daily life, and you put yourself in that real immersion situation, and then that's where I think your Japanese will just level up. So for me, I spent 2 years learning Japanese in university, and I got really good at reading, really good at writing, really good at listening, but my speaking was bad. But once I came in my 3rd year of university for my 1-year exchange program, that's when my speaking skill just leveled up. And I always say, if I had not lived here at least for that 1 year or so and just practiced speaking every day, I probably would not be at the level that I am now. So if you have the opportunity, try to come here by any means, even for a short-term program, to really just experience the environment and then get that chance to speak on a regular basis. その留学経験があったので、今ではやっと日本語上手になった。その前は全然喋れなくて、ただ書くとか、読めるけど喋れなかった。 But so I pretty much just said that before coming here, I couldn't speak at all. I could just read and write. But after coming here, I was able to speak a lot better. And I know that I still have a long way to go, especially in terms of my Keigo. Keigo, amari dekinai. I can't really use Keigo, but at least I'm comfortable enough to use my Japanese. And I think that's what's most important. You just need to get comfortable with it. You don't need to be perfect, but just get comfortable with it. Woo! Being a black woman in Japan, oh Lord. So I think it's quite different for black guys in Japan. I feel like black guys are quite popular here, maybe because, you know, Japanese women love to see them in the sports or in the action. But being a black woman, you get stared at. You get stared at so much. People touch your hair for no reason, especially if I have like afro like this. People be touching my hair. And there was actually one really weird situation. So I was at a meetup. This is back when I was a ryugakusei or exchange student. I was at a meetup. And I was just talking to another person like this, normally talking. And out of nowhere, this guy, I will say, I don't think he's a Japanese guy. I think he was maybe Korean, but it was in Japan. This guy comes up to me and literally rubs my skin. I was like, what the hell? What are you doing? What the heck are you doing? He was like, oh, ochinai. Oh, it doesn't come off. I was like, bro. To this day, I'm just like, who does that? And you know, I didn't get mad at him, surprisingly. I should have knocked his face out, but I didn't get mad. Instead, I was just like, at least ask. Maybe I'm too nice because I told him at least ask first. But then I was like, wait, no, you shouldn't even be doing that. And I think that kind of situation will only happen in Japan, even if it was not by a Japanese person, just because I don't think they're taught here not to touch people's hair, not to touch people's skin. And I was just, yeah, I don't know. I was stupefied. I was just stupefied, but that's my experience so far. You do get stared at. People will want to touch some part of you, if it's your hair or your skin. But I also do get a lot of the positive aspect in terms of people, you know, they're like, wow, you're so cool. You know, just me being me normal, they automatically think I'm cool, or, you know, they want to get to know me. I think that's nice. Because it stems from them being genuinely interested in the black culture, as it's called here. So there is a lot of positive aspect to it, but yeah, the stares do get tiring. If I had to give advice to any future black women wanting to come to Japan, just do it, come. You know, this place is safe, there's lots of opportunity for you, and I think you get a lot of chances to meet new people and try new experiences. But definitely before you come, try to learn the language as much as possible, because it will make your life much easier. You don't have to depend on people as much. Because I know we're quite independent women, so I don't think you want to be dependent on somebody to just order food. So try to learn the language as much. And also I would say, come with an open mind. Come with an open mind in terms of try the Japanese food, you know, be open to the culture, be respectful of the manners, because remember, we're still visiting their country. There may be stuff we don't agree with. There may be ideas we don't agree with, but come with an open mind and come ready to talk with these people so that they can learn more about us. And I hope by doing that, one day Japan will become a more, I don't know, open country. But for now, I would say just come with an open mind and be ready to talk and educate people on proper manners when maybe dealing with a foreign girl, or proper manners when touching your hair and things like that. So yeah, that would be my advice. So taking care of my hair, I actually have to do my hair myself. I've never been to the salon here in Japan. So the main hairstyles I usually do are the afro, or I'll do my hair in two, or I'll do twist. And I think that's easy for me to be able to maintain my hair, because I know it can be really hard to maintain. Also, I love wearing wigs. And people genuinely don't even know that it's a wig. They will just be like, oh wow, nice hair today. Even one day I will have this short hair, next day I'll have like hair to this length, but they'll just be like, oh, your hair grew, that's nice. So wearing wigs is fine. I brought all my wigs from back home in Canada, but I think you could buy some here. So that shouldn't be an issue. Only thing is, don't wear hair, I would suggest don't really wear hair that's like too blonde or too red, too different. Because when I first came, I actually had blonde braids. And I had to ask my manager, do you think this is okay? And he told me, Mary, I don't want to tell you no, but maybe consider it. And we know, once they tell you to consider it, you should not be having that hair. If you're working in a professional setting, I would recommend keep your hair to the black or maybe dark brown style. But you can do various styles. You can have afro, you can have wigs to this length, you can do pompons, you can do a variety for your hair. So you have freedom in here. You have freedom. I think working in a company, especially in a professional business setting, it's quite different because I have to present myself to clients. It's not just my company people I'm dealing with, but it's a variety of clients. So I always have to make sure to be as put together as possible, and to, as I mentioned for the hair, to have black hair because they do judge you based on how you look. As well, if I use Japanese to speak, they'll always be surprised, like, oh, she speaks Japanese, huh? And there's even been occasions, not me personally, but actually one of my coworkers, I have one other black coworker, female, in my company. She was talking in Japanese on the phone, and the client still would ask her, oh, do you have a native Japanese speaker we can talk to? So sometimes, even though you put in the effort to learn Japanese and to use Japanese, sometimes the client just wants people who are native Japanese. And I would say, don't feel hurt by that. Just transfer over to somebody who's native Japanese and then just keep moving about your business. So you sometimes will get clients who will still prefer to work with a Japanese native rather than you. But I don't think it's because they're racist or they're trying to discriminate. I really think just because they want to feel comfortable, and for them to feel comfortable, they'd rather work with a Japanese person. But the more of us that are in the professional setting in Japan, the more these clients will get used to it. And I think that's how we can make a change. So working in Japan as a black woman, I think it can be hard, but as long as you push through, there's a lot of amazing opportunities here for you. So dating in Japan, truthfully, I haven't had that much luck. I don't know why, really. I think maybe because I'm a bit of a picky person in terms of the type of men I like. Physique-wise, I do prefer more of the macho or, somebody who does work out more. And just, unfortunately, in Japan, that's not the popular style. The popular style is people who are smart looking, which just means that they're really skinny type of guys. So that's been a bit difficult, just finding somebody I'm genuinely interested in. I have dated foreigners here in Japan, and that's even just a whole nother ball game because you have to think, okay, where is this guy from? What country is he from? Is he interested in being in Japan long term? Does he want to go back home? Will he be willing to come to Canada with me? That's, where it goes. So dating in Japan for me has been a bit difficult, but I think if you're somebody who's confident in themselves, there is still a lot of people who could be interested in you or who would be interested in you. Myself, I don't want to say Japanese men are not interested in black women, but I haven't seen too many of those type of couples in my circle. Maybe outside there's plenty of black women and Japanese guys, but I don't really see that much. So I do feel that may be a bit difficult. However, there are still plenty of guys who would look beyond just the color of your skin and actually care about who you are. Just finding those guys may be a bit harder. So you can find me online, actually on YouTube. I recently started a channel to document not only my experience in Japan, but also I want to just give career advice and life advice to people in general, especially people in my age group, millennials. Because before I came here, there was so much I didn't know, not just about living in Japan, but being a working adult. And I want to just share that knowledge and also kind of build a community where we can just talk and have fun. So you can find me on YouTube at Mary Ralladi. That's M-A-R-Y, Ralladi, R-A-L-L-A-D-I. Or Instagram as well, Mary Ralladi.
Thank you so much for watching. If you or someone you know would like to be featured, send us a message through our Facebook page or Instagram at the BlackXJP or via our website, blackxjp.com. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.